What's up, everybody? See, I'm a little what you call. I was supposed to do a live jam yesterday. I've been under the weather very bad, and I can't afford to stay at work. Today's New Year's, and this new year, um, things are changing. I'm planning new stuff. Um, Getting rid of the MPC. Sup, Twin Cities Oxygen. Good morning. Sorry about the noise with the car. It's gonna go away in a second. Oh man, it feels bad. I had a bad fever last night. I'm here with the not sponsored by. Gotta drink some of that to go and do my job today. I'm late too. Uh, I'll be there on time, but late. uh, Twin City, Twin City, you know about it. We were talking about it yesterday. So I'm selling my MPC. I'm getting rid of it. Not not because I'm gonna buy another MPC. It's because I'm not gonna deal with the platform anymore. Um, it's it has been a big problem for me. It always I always had a problem with my projects. Yeah, man. Uh, it's always a problem with the MPC, and while I'm doing projects, it'll crash many times, um and it will crash while performing certain things like erasing MIDI information from it. Like you'll write something on the machine, and then after you write that something, you decide that you don't like it, you erase it, and when you erase it, it crashes. That's pretty much what happens with that. Um, I rely a lot on a machine that can do all the sequencing for my external hardware. Good morning, Sin Samurai. How you doing? I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Had some fever last night, but I gotta go out there and work anyways. Can't afford staying home, my friend. Uh, I'm not gonna buy a Toneverk. I'm most definitely gonna buy Octatrack, just because I wanted to use. I already got a Digitone for sequencing my external audio, and yeah, well, the Octatrack is a great I can turn into a great performance mixer, and I love I first of all I love machines that can be molded in my way. So it doesn't mean that I'm gonna do the same like everybody else does on the machine. It can morph into anything, so that's very important for me. Um, you know, and it has proven time and time that it's one of the most reliable machines out there. And you know, it's not that I'm not making money out of the music business at all. Here and there sometimes, but I'm not like a career musician where I'm making money every day out of music. But I treat it as such. So why? Well, I want my machine to be a professional machine, a machine that maybe once a year will crash. Once a year, I can't stand having this crashing every time I'm doing a song, or every time I'm sitting down and building a music on it. You know, and I can't stand it. FL Studio will crash too. Don't get me wrong, FL Studio will crash, but FL Studio will crash when you do something really stupid on the FL Studio, like uh, probably load a VST while the music is playing. You load a heavy VST and it might crash. Not always, but sometimes it does. When you use VSTs that are not part of the FL Studio, third-party VSTs can give you problems, and those things happen with FL Studio. But those things are things that you can work around by just stopping the music and not loading VSTs while the music's playing. That's a rule that I have put myself, right? So Twin Cities Oxygen says this has the Bullfrog XL coming to the studio. That's nice, bro, and that sounds really good. Um, I'm really amazed by the Cobalt Expander and how nice is coming. Um, the one thing I'm gonna miss about the MPC, the only one thing I'm gonna miss about the MPC is the CV playground. Probably it's not the greatest, anyways. It's not that fast to work with. What I will do is I'll probably find something that I can. Probably there has to be a box out there, a small box on the side that I can have like extra LFOs on the side for me. Like probably there gotta be a little module somewhere where you have extra LFOs and shit, or make a little skiff, probably like for like 2 or 3 modules, where I can have 2 or 3 modules of uh, the Mega. You're gonna grab the Mega? Damn, Sin Samurai, you got that cash. I'm selling the MPC Live too. It's gonna go. It's gotta go. It's already in a box. Everything. I just took everything. I put it in a box. Yo, and I have to unregister it. I'm gonna do that tonight. Unregister it, and I'm done with it. I was jamming last night with the analog rhythm and the digitone, and I was having a blast. Even though I didn't go live, I was having a blast. I'm learning how to use the scenes and performance scenes on the analog rhythm, and they do the trick. It sounds very cool. I was doing some drum and bass, and I was resampling the drums on the drum and bass that I was making, and then I was doing variations of that drum break that I did on the machine itself. And believe me, it does work. Um, like I said, it doesn't have time stretch, which is kind of a bummer for the analog rhythm, but it doesn't matter because what I do is I will what I'm gonna do is I would just create my own drum breaks inside of it, and then resample them, and then slice them in different ways, and that works too. That works. I think it works even better, bro, because with the parameter locks I can do some crazy glitchy stuff, especially for drum and bass, and I want to get that drum and bass feel from the kind of like the '90s drum and bass or jungle style drums from the '90s, and that's what I'm looking for because I love that sound. I'm not trying to imitate anybody. I'm just trying to get there where I feel satisfied, and nothing satisfies you more than a machine that works solid. My analog rhythm hasn't crashed ever. I got it, never has crashed. I don't have any glitches. There's no hesitation. I'll change from pattern to pattern. There's no problem. It does like immediate pattern change. I can pattern change like in a jump. It does all kinds of weird stuff, and you know, with the I'm gonna show you guys how it sounds with the scenes. Man, the scenes are awesome, bro. That's the most craziest thing that I ever seen a box have. You know, yeah. The scenes on the analog rhythm are wild, especially if you're working with samples inside of the analog rhythm, um, and the scenes at the same time and parameter locking those scenes, you're gonna have a blast. Um, Also with the performance side, also too, it's amazing what you can do with that machine, and it's a different way of thinking. With the analog rhythm, you have to think differently. You have to have a different mindset when it comes to drums because you can do all the regular stuff that you can do on a drum machine, but it has so much more than just what you can do on a like. I have tried the TR8S. I had the MPC. I had the model samples, which is basically the same thing, but it's not even close. The model samples. I had what else did I have as a drum machine? I had those three. I had the motorcycles too. It doesn't come close neither, and I love the motorcycles. I just don't have it anymore, but I love the motorcycles. Um, I've heard the SP404, and that's one of the machines that I was thinking about getting. But I don't know if you guys can recommend me the SP404 for the only reason why I will have a SP404 is so I can do punching effects, right? The other thing I can get is the MC707 from Roland because it has two stereo inputs, just like an Octatrack, and it has some types of parameter locking, just like an Octatrack, and it has scatter performance style. Yeah, menu diving. That's the problem. I don't want to that I want to have options that I can use outside instead of menu diving. That's the problem with the SP44. That's why I was gonna pull the trigger yesterday, but I said nah, it's too little. It has only four buttons, and I'm probably gonna have a hard time with the. I'm gonna probably have a hard time with button combinations and stuff like that. And the MC707 caught my attention because of the things that it can do, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to do what I think it could do, and that's the other problem. Now with the Octatrack, I can make my own, basically my own effects on that box, my own combination of effects, and I get two stereo inputs, which is the most important thing on that machine. Is either or. I can have two stereo inputs. I can run two different kinds of sound from one side on one channel and another, you know. So I can basically have two parallel joints going at the same time.